Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly MMA Cycles Market Update. It's Gianni DePoce, your host. It's great to be with you again as we are on 11/11, a very auspicious day with respect to numerology. And needless to say, the astrology has been nothing short of exciting. This past week, we had a U.S. midterm election, which is still in the process of being counted, the ballots being counted, that is. So we'll see how that eventually pans out. But we did have some very powerful geocosmic signatures to start the week. We had a square between Venus and Saturn on the 7th on Monday. And then on election day, we had that lunar eclipse we were talking about that included a Sun-Uranus opposition, a Sun-Mercury cazimi, and a T-square to Saturn. And needless to say, there is no shortage of tensions still as ballots continue to be counted. We then had a trine between Venus and Neptune the following day. And stocks are actually doing pretty well this week. So let's go ahead and start off by looking at the Dow Jones. All stocks set to go out near the highs of the week. It's been a very bullish week for equities after the CPI report came in on Thursday, the same day that Venus trine to Neptune, lower than expectations. And stocks like this report because it signaled that the Fed may slow the pace of their rate hikes. Markets only expecting a 50 basis point rate hike at the next meeting for the time being. So Venus trine Neptune, could this be some unfound hope, or is it based in reality? But it has to do with the monetary matters, and there was no shortage of euphoria going into the weekend. Let's go ahead and take a look at the NASDAQ, which also had a good week. Stocks on Thursday, on the same day that Venus trine to Neptune, had their strongest one-day performance since 2020, which really, I think, exemplifies that signature Venus trine Neptune. So NASDAQ rallying to a new highest level since end of September here. It's up over 8% on the week, leading the rest of the indices higher, which is a really good signal. So looking ahead into the next week, we have the trines continuing. We have a trine aspect between the Sun and Neptune on Monday, the 14th. We then have a trine between Venus and Jupiter on the 15th of November. The following day, on the 16th, Venus will ingress into the sign of Sagittarius. So those are all pretty cozy, favorable aspects. But as stocks are rising into that period, could we be entering a period of overconfidence in the short term? Those trine aspects, especially involving Venus and Jupiter, lend itself to that thought. And then on Saturday, the 19th, we have a square aspect between Mars and Neptune, but then we also have a very special, unique transit unfolding over these next few days. It's starting these next few days, and that is Heliocentric Mercury ingressing into Sagittarius. And I can't spoil that for you because that's one of Ray's favorite transits to use, especially as it pertains to metals, which, by the way, had a strong week as well. So I would encourage you to check out some of our reports at MMAcycles.com if you want to know about Heliocentric Mercury and Sagittarius. Moving on into the other markets, we have crude oil, which formed a low the same day that Venus trine Neptune. Obviously, Neptune is a co-ruler of crude oil with Jupiter, so finding a low on the same day of a signature involving Neptune is always really nice to see from a financial astrology standpoint. We saw a big sell-off in the U.S. dollar this past week, and we had one of the strongest down days in the dollar, or I should say one of the strongest down weeks in the U.S. dollar going back to March of 2020. And that led to, obviously, a tremendous rally in stock markets. So definitely something to keep an eye on here as the world pretty much bought into the consensus that the dollar was going higher. It obviously has, the macroeconomic tailwind of higher interest rates behind it, but, it could have been overbought in the short term. We'll see how that pans out. Taking a look at gold and silver, both very strong weeks. Gold rallying to a multi-month high, now at its highest level since mid-August. That's a good sign for now, but we'll have to see how it reacts as Heliocentric Mercury goes into Sagittarius. Taking a look at silver, silver rallied to a new multi-month high as well, rallying to its highest level this past week since late June. I do want to take a moment to look at GDX, which, by the way, we will be updating our outlook on this ETF because it is featured in the MMA ETF report, which will be published next week on the 17th of November. So this was a pretty strong breakout here in GDX as well. So looking good on that front at the moment. But will it hold? That remains to be seen, especially going into all those Trine aspects next week. No shortage of news on the cryptocurrency front. Massive fraud exposed at the FTX crypto exchange, and I think that really speaks to the lunar eclipse that just unfolded. The sun in Scorpio, moon in Taurus, sun opposite Uranus, big surprises, T-square Saturn, regulatory issues, Scorpio rules debt, backdoor deals. Looks like tremendous fraud along the likes of Enron or Bernie Madoff. So not looking good for FTX, but a meaningful divergence we observe with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Won't get into that too much right now. If you want to learn more, I would encourage you to check out our MMA crypto reports that we publish on a daily and weekly basis. We also feature the Bitcoin ETF, BITO, in the MMA monthly ETF report that will be published next week. Last and certainly not least, seeing interest rates come down from their highs. The bond market is actually closed here today on Friday due to Veterans Day, but futures still traded. But the 10-year Treasury yield down pretty hard this week after inflation came in below expectations. So giving the rest of the markets a very nice reprieve when it comes to matters related to liquidity. So that takes care of what I wanted to look at with you this week. Thank you so much for watching. Would encourage you to still have a look at our forecast 2023. We are wrapping up the writing and the analysis of that book right now. So it's set to be a very exciting year in 2023, especially as we have 4 planets-changing signs between March and May. So if you want to learn more, check us out at www.mmacycles.com. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.